Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Carpool Convos with Liz and Deb. This is the third one that we've been doing in a short space of time. It feels like, even though it really isn't, because one was last month and this is this month, which is September.
Mm-hmm.
But we are two women of the, I forget what was the saying I wanted to use this time, in the second part of life, maybe?
Okay.
That's kind of dry, but I'm going to find something a little more. In the wisdom years.
In the wisdom years.
We have the same birth date, but everything else about us is different. But we share some, we like to talk, we care about our community, and we live on St. Croix. We used to work together, and Liz graciously would allow me to carpool with her to work. And now that we don't work together, we still maintain our friendship, and she also graciously wanted to continue Carpool Convo because we started.
My friend, and I gotta,
Yeah, man.
you have to work at it.
Yeah.
You do have to work at it.
Well, there are responsibilities around being a friend, and you take those on gladly, willingly, when you want to be friends.
Yes.
Yeah. So we still have the driving carpool thing going on, but and so today we're going to Christiansted, and we decided to start the convo. It's my turn. We alternate picking the topic, and today I chose faith, and not Faith Evans. Faith as a part of your everyday life. Faith as practice, actually. Not something that you call on just when you think you need it, but something that you allow to be an inspiration in the day-to-day. Guess I said that already. Yeah.
Okay. What came up for you that this was the topic?
Actually, just the word, really.
Ah.
It was because I have, like, when I get inspiration, as life is life, and I try to put it down so that I won't be scrambling when we're ready to carpool convo for a topic. And I have quite a few of them, but faith is always something I'm willing to talk about because it's something I feel strongly about, and it is part of my practice, even though I have to remind myself sometimes to stay in the high vibration where faith is concerned.
Yes.
And there are many definitions of it. I like the one that I'm not gonna even try to say now because I'm gonna butcher it, I'm sure, but it involves a belief when what you see in front of you, this is Debbie's version of it, tells you that it shouldn't be so. Or there are things that are situations or happenings that say you should not believe that this is going to turn out all right. But you do. But you do, because your belief is not just in what you see, but in things that are unseen. That there is a power beyond our own understanding and beyond our own efforts that has an influence, a say in what we consider to be life. It's more than just the physical. It is the spiritual. And for me, faith is a spiritual action. So it's something that you are constantly, that I am constantly Popo passing by.
Yeah.
Something that I am constantly working with and working on. And I feel like I've been talking a lot, so.
Well, as you were talking about it, I mean, it's a, I say a loaded concept. It's a big concept of what does it mean to have faith. And you're right, faith is a practice. Without practicing it, then I begin to doubt or lose hope that things are going to get better or go in a direction that feels healthy for me. I know with the upcoming election, the loss of faith in the institution, as flawed as it is, felt really heavy for me. And how to, and it's interesting because even saying that, I'm thinking, okay, if I really practice my faith, then what I say often, I believe in providence, that it will be okay. Doesn't mean I'll like it, but I have faith that it will be okay in the grand scheme of the design of our universe.
Me, it's a confidence, because I don't only have faith in a higher power. I have faith in people.
Yes.
I have faith in myself. I have faith in my abilities. So it's also a confidence, but it's a confidence that's grounded in more than just physical evidence, what I see. So even in the times when I feel down or despondent, depressed, or afraid, or just uncertain about what is happening or what's to come, because a lot of the times, I think, at least for me, faith is mixed up with the future. I'm busy worrying about what isn't even here now, which keeps me from being able to focus on the here and now and be able to appreciate what I do have, what's going on right now. So it's a confidence, it's a grounding, it's also an elevation. So for the grounding part, it sort of tells me, okay, so you've been down this road before, or not, right? You've made it this far. You've got some tool or tools that you can use to give you a little bit more of a realistic and optimistic view of what's going on. So it's sort of a grounding in the sense that it pulls me back into what's happening right this minute, because all we have is the present moment, as Thich Nhat Hanh says, right? So even if I plan perfectly for the next minute or the next second or the next hour, the next decade, I have no control over if I'm even going to be here for that, right? So it's a grounding in the sense that it brings me back into the present moment. It's an elevation in the sense that it gives me the awareness that, hey, I'm okay right now. And no matter what happens, even if that means I'm not here for that next second, it will still be okay. And if it's not okay, as that saying that I love says, then it's not the end. If there even is an end, because it might just be that it's a change.
Yes. And you talked about elevation also, that idea that, or for me, elevation, that there is the higher to things. I'm not the be all and end all. I have faith that I'm part of a greater story, that we are all part of a greater story, and we may not get to know what that is, which would be delightful. Well, I think it would be delightful. Might not be delightful, but nevertheless, faith that we are part of something bigger, and counting. I won't say counting on that, feeling grounded in that. I think that's a better way for me to put that.
Okay, I like that. I really do. I get a sense also from when I say elevation that it for me, it's that connection, like you were saying, that we're all a part of something bigger than ourselves. Then it's that, but there, and that there's a connection between each of us to that story that is not just ours, individually, but collectively, right? And that we're building on that, with every good, positive, or surrendered, I don't even know if that's really a way you can use the word, but every time that we recognize or acknowledge that this is a bigger story than just our individual, and that we're each connected to it, that sort of makes for light, a better version of what we are building in our minds is what's actually happening. So while we're going through it, it might feel like it's never going to end, or that this is my fate and that's it. I have no control over what's going to be my situation. But the thing that you can control about it is how you see it.
Yes, and how you respond. Because you're right, to feel, going back to choice, we have a responsibility to ourselves, to the greater that we are connected to, in our actions and response. So even in having faith, we also need to put one foot in front of the other, letting faith maybe lead us, versus sitting by and waiting for life to happen. The faith that we're going to be taken care of.
So faith is an action word.
It is an action word, yes.
And how would you do you have something that you can give an example of how faith was an action for you?
Oh, wow. Actually, on a daily basis, when I sit with somebody to hear their story, and I have faith, I have faith in myself.
Oh, okay.
But not faith that I am going to say the exact right thing or fix their issues. Faith that if I allow myself to be grounded and connected, that whatever that person needs from me can be found. Something not good has happened.
I don't know. Today is the day for fire, rescue, popo.
Apparently. Something going on.
I really, really like that, what you just said there. It was so powerful, because a lot of the times when we think in terms of counseling or what we hear from people around counseling, it doesn't seem to prioritize or to focus around the action that the person that is in the seat for counseling is doing. It's as if they're the secondary to the counselor, where the counselor is actually in service and is giving the person a safe space for them to be able to see what they can do to change their situation or to face whatever it is. So I really like that, you know, your faith involves you allowing people to, you know, get what they need in a way that is generous and open on your side, but is in their hands.
I want it to be in service of the person who is honoring me by sharing their story, trusting in me,
having faith in you.
Having faith in you.
Having faith in you. And I feel like we could probably stretch that to include just most of us. You know, whatever kind of service we allow ourselves or feel comfortable in doing. You know, it really is about us. If there's another person, and there's always somebody else involved. Somebody's touched by everything that we do. I believe there are ripples in everything that we do, and so if even if we do it and we're stepping through the fear, which is something that in the last year or so I have felt a lot of familiarity with, you know. So when we're stepping through the fear, that's us giving action to faith.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and so because I wouldn't want you to share a story and then I'd jump in and share one too. You know, I feel as though me taking my own wellness, that's mental, physical, emotional, psychological wellness, and making that my priority, you know, and saying that I have to change things in my life so that I can be healthier, so that I can feel as though I am living my best life. If that's something I have to build towards, it's not, you know, it's not going to be woof, you know, is me having faith in my own knowledge of myself, you know, in my self-awareness, and in that the opportunities will come for me to be able to take care of myself, because that's always a concern for me, that I don't have to be a burden to anybody, that I can, you know, take care of myself and do it well, right, and still be a member of the community that cares and that contributes to the wellness of the community. So faith is tied to a lot of different ways that it can be interpreted and that it can be used in action, you know, for us. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, what's your definition of faith? What's a story of how you make faith an action in your life, or how you plan to, even, you know? Has this conversation, I hope, given you some food for thought where that's concerned, and you can see faith perhaps in a bigger, larger way, and as something that influences your life in a different way as well. You know, it's a powerful, I feel like it's a really powerful way to think.
I agree.
You know, and to give it some space, in not just in your head, but in your hands, in your heart,
In your feet.
in your feet, opens you up and opens the meat of what faith can be, you know, in your experience. You know, it gives you an opportunity to say, you know, I want faith to be a part of me living my best life.
Yes.
You know, I want, and faith in, you get to name what faith, where you're placing faith in that, right?
And it doesn't have to match.
Anybody.
It is for you in the way that you live it.
For sure. It's very personal, I think.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tied to your spirituality if that's not how you want to bring it into your experience. You know, I like it as a part of mine because I see myself as a spiritual being having a human experience. But
that right there is the second time I have heard that this week.
no kidding.
No kidding.
Yeah, I love when that happens.
I know. I'm like,
It's
whoa.
freaky. Yeah. So in the comments, share with us a little bit about what faith means to you and how you make it, you know, an action. Put it into action in your life and in your experience.
Yes.
And thank you so much for taking the time to, you know, watch this and think about it. And it's a lovely Saturday here on St. Croix, and I hope it's lovely where you are.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best. Till next time.
Okay.